You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 425 of Podketeers. In this episode, we talk about the new LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation Special. We give our thoughts on Lightyear and the current state of Pixar films. We finally launch our ChocWalk page. More on that in the episode. And the Haunted Mansion turns 53. To celebrate, we share our favorite mansion ghosts and memories. As always, we'd love to hear how you feel about the things that we talk about in this episode, and you can join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter. Just search for Podketeers if you're not yet following us, but we'd love for you to join our Discord server. Joining is super simple. All you have to do is head on over to our pinned Instagram story, click on the Discord logo. You're just a couple clicks away from joining, or you can do the same by going to podketeers.com/425 and clicking on the Discord logo. Before we begin, I want to send a special shout out to a wonderful group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers After Show, and access to our happy hour calls, just to name a few. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, head on over to podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. All right, we are going to get this thing started. If you are new to the podcast and this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome. We hope that you enjoy the episode and that you come back for more. We got a whole archive of episodes that you can listen to. Some of our favorite ones are Armchair Imagineering, so make sure to check those out. But if you've been with us for some time now, welcome back, friends. Here is episode 425 of Podketeers. Are you ready?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I can't hear you.
Aye, Captain.
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Not me.
Nor I. However, I feel like it would be fairly comfy to be in a pineapple under the sea compared to the weather out here.
Yeah, probably be cheaper.
Yeah.
Everything is turbine powered.
Just be sandy cheeks, and you can, have a little dome with some oxygen, and there you go.
Boom!
Perfect.
You got the best of both worlds. You got the
Exactly.
best of both worlds. Well, that hurt my throat.
You don't like talking like a pirate, do you?
I used to be able to all day long, and now I can't. It hurts.
Aw.
I'm glad I have water, or else I'm not going to be able to get through the episode. It's just going to get progressively worse. It's my own fault, but it felt right.
You don't want to
It
sound
did.
like
That's the
Harvey Firestein like for the rest of the episode.
I mean, I could.
Yeah.
At least for one episode. We'll see.
Yeah, it would be not fun. Just gargle some gravel.
Ooh.
I had a bowl of nails for breakfast. So, without any milk. There's a SpongeBob reference for all you SpongeBob people out there.
Boom.
Boom,
It
SpongeBob.
continues.
Square pants.
I think I'm on the SpongeBob kick because there was a set of Nickelodeon decks that were recently released, and I'm crossing my fingers because I very rarely purchase decks that are in blind packs because I just don't like playing that game. Even when they have blind packs at Disneyland for remember when they used to do blind packs for Vinylmation and then they started doing blind packs for everything after that?
Pretty much.
That's kind of what I feel kicked it off, right?
Yeah.
All the way back to when they were doing Vinylmation, I hated getting the blind packs because I always feel like, and this is one of the reasons I stopped playing Emoji Blitz, because I felt that every time I went to get something new, I got a repeat of something I already owned. And I just thought, well, this is ridiculous. I'm just spending money over and over and over.
Yeah, exactly.
And these decks that came out, it's been kind of trickling out. Different companies have been releasing the decks every so often, and it's a deck for Rugrats, for Rocko's Modern Life, for Hey Arnold. Thornberry's has one. Cat Dog has one. What else? I think there's 7 total. No, there's 7 total.
Is that
Our Real Monsters has one, yes.
One? Okay.
And
All
then
that?
the final... No. All that was the live one. This is all
I know,
that...
but still, I like it. The Amanda Show. I'm on the right channel, right?
Oh, Ren and Stimpy was the other one.
Ah, okay.
Ren and Stimpy's the other one. So, yeah. So, I purchased 3 to begin with because I thought, all right, well, maybe I'll get lucky. And I ended up with 1 Rugrats and 2 football heads. So, I'm hoping that someone else that I know can trade me the additional Hey Arnold one for something I don't have. But I bought a few more this past weekend during the second release that they did. And I'm hoping I don't end up with all football heads because
that would be a bummer.
Knowing how these blind things go for me, I'm thinking I'm going to have a lot of trading to do. Of all the Hey Arnolds, Heyzen ended up with all of them.
Maybe they'll do a live action one next so you can get the all that cards.
This is all that.
And then the Clarissa explains it all. I can't say that. Clarissa explains it all. Yeah. And the Keenan and Kel. Dad,
That was funny.
Yeah,
Clarissa Explains It All was one of my favorite shows on Nickelodeon, too. I loved it.
Secret of the Hidden Temple or whatever. Or Legend of the Hidden
dude.
Temple.
One of the best games ever.
Yep.
Come on, baby.
They need to bring that back, but
They did.
They did.
No, I mean Disney's got to do that inside of the Indiana Jones Adventure attraction.
I wish.
You have to try and put the Mara's head back together.
Yes, you got to do everything.
Whatever.
You got to run the entire attraction without the Jeep.
Hey,
What?
sold.
I will. Yeah, okay.
You got
Fine.
2 volunteers right
Done
here.
right now. Okay.
I don't
Sold.
even care if we get prizes. I just want to run
Nope,
the attraction.
Yep.
That's the prize. The prize was the friends we made along the way.
Aw. Oh, man. Hey, so this weekend, I finally had a chance to watch Lightyear. I believe both of you saw it
Yeah.
too, right?
Me too.
Cool.
Yep.
So I want to talk about that in a bit. By any chance, did either of you watch the Lego Star Wars summer vacation thing?
Not yet.
So this was the best commercial that Lego's ever made for anything. Don't get me wrong, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot of the standard Lego jokes and everything. The Weird Al part was pretty fun. But everything was about the Star Cruiser and them being on vacation. I get it. Disney wants to cross promote the things that they have,
Right.
but I feel like this is one of the first times that I don't want to say that it was cringe because it wasn't cringe. It felt much more forced than the other Lego specials that they've done.
Mhm.
It didn't it hit on a lot of the Lego levels, but I don't know. For a Lego Star Wars thing, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it because there's been all the talk about, the hotel and everything that went on with it. But I don't know. It's probably not one that I'm going to go back and watch again.
Once and done. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
saw
Watch
it.
the-
I'm good.
Listen to the Weird Al song on Spotify or something. And you can get the best parts out of it.
Yeah. It's a fun song.
Yeah. It's worth watching, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. Again, I'm probably reading too much into it.
But what if you're a Galactic Star Cruiser fan?
You're going to love it.
Okay, great.
You're going to
I'm
love
sure
it.
there are people out there that are
That's
Galactic
the
Star
audience
Cruiser fans.
right there.
You know what? Target audience, very niche.
Yeah.
More importantly, here's what I think. I feel like if you did the Galactic Star Cruiser experience, you might watch this and think, I have a connection to this thing, right? You might feel like you enjoy it more because you share a similarity with the special. But for someone that hasn't done it, if part of why they based the entire special around the Halcyon and, the whole experience of being on vacation and stuff, this did not make me want to go do it any more than anything else I've seen. If that was the goal, it failed, right? But
Right.
again, I'm probably not the market for that. Like,
I was
I'm
going to
not
say
a
the goal is
hardcore enough Star
probably the
Wars
kids.
fan.
I think the goal is the kids. Mom and
Oh,
Dad, I want to go.
Maybe.
I want to go on that
Maybe.
thing.
But then the kids are going to go and they're going to be like, where's Lego Chewie? And they're not going to see a Lego Chewbacca, and they're going to be like, what the heck, you know?
Well, you can go see real Chewbacca on your excursion to Black Spire Outpost.
That's true.
I guess.
We need
I
a
don't know.
tactical Chewbacca.
Tactical Chewbacca, best Chewbacca. Well, classic Chewbacca is still good Chewbacca, too. Tactical
I
Chewbacca.
mean, yeah.
Good.
They both have their charm.
Yeah,
So-
you know what? Maybe they'll be friends. Like, you never know. They haven't met yet. Maybe they could be friends.
Yeah.
Maybe they're distant cousins, and we just don't know it.
I just found out that this is a random story, not really connected with anything we're talking about, but I'll say it anyway. I just found out that one of the kids in the shows that I was doing is a cousin of mine that we didn't know about. It was
What?
Quite interesting. It's she's a third cousin of mine.
Wow.
Our great grandmothers are sisters. So anyway, that's just a random cousin story that I had.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So now we're just like, hey, cousin, hey, whatever. Da, 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 da. So that was an interesting thing to find out. So anyway, that's you said cousin. It made me think of it. So
Well, then it's definitely related.
it is
Yeah.
related. It's a little tangenty, but it's whatever. This whole show has become just Tangent City, I think.
Boom.
It's mostly my fault, but it's okay.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
I like
It is fun. I think
is.
it's
I like
funny.
It keeps me on my toes, and it keeps things interesting.
Mm.
Yep.
So, anyway, to wrap it up, like I said, if for a fair weather Star Wars fan like myself, if this was meant to excite you and make you want to go to, take this weekend and be on the Galactic Star Cruiser, it did not do that for me. It did the opposite. Like, it just made me feel like I don't need to. But if you're a Lego fan, or rather a big enough Star Wars fan where, you have wanted to do it, it's probably going to get you a little more excited about it and make you happy, and you're going to be upset when there's no Lego characters there, but you're going to enjoy your stay, and the end. So, but it's worth watching. It was fun enough as its own Lego thing that if you put that aside, if you put like the commercial aside, it was a fun special. I will say that. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll definitely check it out. Like it's on the list. I just gotta have the time to watch it.
Nice.
Been hanging out with my cousin too much.
Lightyear.
Yeah.
That was something else that we had an opportunity to watch this weekend. I wanted to get your thoughts because there was a lot of stuff running through my head while watching this film, especially with all the controversies that were flying around about why people didn't want to watch and why it was banned and all sorts of stuff. So, Mel, kick us off. What were your thoughts on Lightyear?
Well, one, I'm going to say spoiler alert because, yeah, we're going to you guys already know. Spoilers. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. Skip a little bit. So Lightyear was really fun. It was totally fun. I appreciated the sci-fi aspect. Like, I've been into a lot of sci-fi shows, and to see this was really cool. My first thought was the first minute, like the little intro. Why couldn't they just show that part as, trailer, teaser, something that would have been like perfect? And I watched it and I'm like, okay, I see it. Should have shown that, maybe we would have been in the theater. That's my first thought. But overall, a lot of fun. This is gonna be full of rants again. I'm sorry. So I know you're supposed to root for the good guys, but I really like Zurg. Zurg is like one of those villains.
Zurg.
That's so cool. And I didn't like the story and where they went with him. And the reason why, so apparently Zurg just doesn't exist. evil Buzz. What? We had what is it? Evil Mr. Pork Chop.
Evil Dr. Pork
Yes,
Chop.
thank you. Yes. So if we had that and we never saw anything like that for Buzz, why did we make him evil all of a sudden? Why can't Zurg just be a robot? Why did we have to make him human? Why was it a Voss kind of thing? No. The
Do
movies-
not say to a man behind the curtain.
Yeah. I mean, the movie, really good. The whole thing with the controversy, that's nothing. That was nothing.
Yeah.
If anything, there was a different point to that kind of almost made me cry. Because it's just, when you follow the story, it's kind of heartbreaking. So people were just making stuff up for no reason. And besides the whole Zurg thing, it was still pretty good. And I think Chris Evans did a fantastic job as Buzz. You didn't hear Captain America. You heard Buzz. And sometimes, you know how like sometimes when you're playing a part, you can't separate yourself from that. I don't know if that makes sense. But I honestly thought that was a really good job. Like I was kind of curious how that was going to roll out. Like, how were they going to do this? Now I kind of wish I had seen Buzz in Disneyland, because the movie's cool. Overall, it was a fun ride. Totally a fun ride, besides the whole thing with Zurg. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
Wait, is Captain Lightyear still at Disneyland?
I think so, maybe.
Who
We have to
knows?
check.
I thought they took him away because he was becoming a thirst trap on Instagram and TikTok.
Dude, I am so disconnected from stuff like that. Like, I have no idea.
All right, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw a video somewhere where he wasn't available anymore because people were making videos of him where he was a bit of a thirst trap, and so they were like, "Yep, no soup for you." And this is why we can't have nice things in the parks, because people do this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I don't know. So I don't know. Sorry, Andrew. I believe I cut you off there.
I'm doing some research. I am seeing Instagram posts from July 31st of Light Buzz in the park. So that doesn't
okay.
mean
8 days ago.
too much. Yeah. It could be an old photo. Not 100% sure. But possibility he's still there. 2 days ago, somebody posted a photo, but again, this looks like it's at Disney. No, that's Disneyland. So anyway, it's a possibility he's still there.
Okay.
Who knows? But it looks like he's got his own little backdrop in these photos now, as opposed to just being in the whatchamacallit, like the Tomorrowland stage.
Well, see, that's why you can't believe the things you hear on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Just take them with a grain of salt or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool photo.
All right.
Come
that's
back,
that guy.
come
Never
back
mind.
to the podcast.
Anyway,
Your thoughts on
Sorry,
Lightyear.
I'm on Instagram. I was scrolling. Lightyear. Yes, I agree with you, Melissa. I thought Chris Evans did a great job of really matching, but not, matching with Tim Allen in the cadence and the speech, pattern and inflection and everything, with still giving a different performance than the Buzz from the Toy Story films. It's kind of like the Tom Hanks Jim Hanks thing, where Tom Hanks is Woody and then Jim Hanks does all the secondary, tertiary merchandise and everything. So they sound a little different, but it's still there. So it did kind of give that vibe, which I thought was good and smart. I like the movie overall. Yeah, the dad Zurg plot thing was kind of, or not dad. It's in Toy Story 2. It's dad. Different timeline Buzz, because that also, I think they didn't explain that well enough, because he was like, I went to the future, but then how is there also this other Buzz? They didn't really explain that too well, because I was confused. So that also there's that guy that looks like Heyzen in the movie. I thought that was kind of fun.
I'm famous.
You're famous. He looks like you. Whatever his name was, Diaz or whatever, the like guy,
Yeah.
and he's like, you have a beard. How long have you been gone? 4 years or whatever.
4 years.
So, also, star of the movie is Socks, definitely.
Yes.
I think.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at the IMDb right now, so that's why. Peter Sohn, who's done plenty of Pixar voice work and is I don't know exactly what he does at Pixar other than the voices, but I know he's in creative somehow. But he's Squishy in Monsters University and stuff like that. Great job as Socks. I had a fun time. I liked how Socks was kind of like the R2-D2
Yes.
of this Lightyear world, where you're just like, oh, there's a port, plug my tail into it. Here's the port, I can do that. Like, that's R2-D2 is a magical thing where it's like, oh, there always happens to be a port that R2-D2 can plug into.
Yep.
In Star Wars, like, okay, here's the port where Socks can plug into. But yeah, it was. I had a good time watching it. It was fun. The old man Buzz was kind of a little off-putting to look at. I think he just kind of because kind of like that's the old man. It's like, I don't know. It just kind of weirded me out, but I enjoyed the whole thing, and the resolution of the entire story was good, even if it's not the villain, not the Zurg you might have wanted it to be, because why not just be a robot? Also, the Zurg toy doesn't have legs. It's like a big cape thing that he rolls around. What's that all about? Like, come on, there's continuity errors in between Toy Story 1 and and Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 2 and Lightyear. We need to resolve these things. Is there like it was Lightyear 2 and Zurg is an actual robot that was an AI made from Ivan and something and I don't know what. But anyway, it was a fun movie. I liked watching it.
The toy thing between Toy Story 2 and this, I don't know. I feel like I have so many thoughts on this, because at the beginning of Lightyear, you alluded to it earlier, that they do mention, they have that blurb of like, back in 1995, Andy, blah, 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 this is that movie, right? And they talk about how this
Feels
is the thing
added last minute.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they added that. I'm glad that that's a part of the film. But if they really wanted for people to accept this as its own thing within the Toy Story universe, they would have bypassed. I feel like they should have bypassed the text at the beginning, and they should have had a clip of Andy with a tub of popcorn and Woody and maybe Rex and Slink or whoever. Remember the advertisement that they did?
Just that artwork, yeah.
Like, that should not just have been artwork. That should have been the opening of the film, like where he's telling the toys, all right, guys, the movie's about to start. Here we go. And then it just kind of like goes into the film from there, right? Because then you would have made an immediate connection that Andy is watching this film. At the end of the film, you can go back to the theater and just have Andy mouth agape and just like saying like, to infinity and beyond, and that's where the film ends or something, right? Like something to tie it back to the film. Without that, that's why I think people had a hard time accepting it. The whole Chris Evans thing, I think because I had the understanding of how the film was supposed to function within the Toy Story universe, the Chris Evans thing never bothered me. I didn't even care that he didn't sound like Tim Allen. Because to me, it was a different character altogether. It wasn't the Buzz toy. It was Captain Lightyear that I was listening to. Tim Allen is the Buzz Lightyear toy. So that argument immediately got thrown out the window for me. I have to agree with Socks. I'm not a cat person. But damn it, if this didn't make me want to get a little Socks toy or something. Like I need that in my
Right.
life. It's adorable.
Yeah, they have. I think it's Super 7. I think the company. They make a like full size socks.
That is
like in a
cool.
carrier thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that exists.
I love
socks
it.
is cool.
Plus, I love how Buzz is like, yeah, figure this out. And he's like, really? Okay, cool. And he's the reason they finally figure out how to do it or something. So cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
It's like I've worked on it for 180 years or whatever, or 86 years or whatever it was, and I finally figured it out.
So, like, the entire transition, like, you see time passing, everything. It was absolutely heartbreaking, to see him missing out on life, essentially. The lesson at the end, I think, is fantastic. I think how this wraps up is a really great lesson for a lot of people. But in general, the whole Zurg thing, I don't know. I would love to see. I think they already have one on Disney Plus. They may have like the making of sort of thing for Lightyear. And if they don't have it yet, I hope that they add something soon, because I'm curious to know if the whole Buzz traveling from the future was a last-minute change during the development of the film. I almost feel like the entire thing was leading to the line from Toy Story 2 where he's like, "No, I am your father," right? And they were going to wrap it up like that.
Well, exactly.
And at the last minute, they were like, "No, let's take him on this swerve and let's make it Buzz from the future." And I'm cool with it. When I saw old Buzz, like, I got Charles Muntz vibes like immediately, and I just thought like it's he's about to attack Carl and Russell. Like, how dare he? And now he's attacking Buzz. I was okay with it. I didn't mind it. I thought the fact that he grew as a person and he was able to defeat himself, I think it wrapped up okay. It was fine for how it ended. Overall, the film was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. A lot of the criticism that was out there, I think, was fairly unjustified. However, I do think that if they did a better job of tying it to the original story and adding that animation, or maybe not even that, like maybe just some audio that made it sound like the lights were going down and, and you heard Andy and the toys or something, or people like, sure, the movie's beginning, the movie's starting. I think that tie-in is the key for more people accepting this. But that's just me.
Yeah. I think it, honestly, even you keep the movie completely intact, you take out the little text and you just market it that way. I think that's the biggest fail of this movie, is how it was marketed, because it was like all over the place. Nobody knew what this movie was going to be about. They were so confused on who this character was. Is this the Buzz toy? Is this real life Buzz? No, it's a movie, da-da-da-da-da. And we're hearing this just from Twitter and whatever. The marketing was very kind of vague and not tying it to Toy Story at all, or, making clear what this was. So if from the start they're like, hey, this is the Andy movie that he watched, this is Andy's Star Wars or whatever that they want to market it as, then you can make the movie whatever you want it to be. And you don't even have to put that stuff in the beginning, because people are prepared for it from the get-go with the trailers and the marketing. They know what they're getting themselves into, as opposed to being some wishy-washy campaign where it's like, well, we kind of want to show him that he's this, but kind of want to this and that and blah, blah, blah. That's my opinion on where this got a bad rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's sad that I didn't get to see this in theaters, because it is cool looking.
Yeah.
Like hyperspeed.
Oh, he's going to light speed? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And there was like those shots where it seems so intense, and it's like,
yeah,
that would have been awesome on a big screen.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, also, Heyzen, yes, there is a making of documentary on Disney Plus.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Beyond Infinity, Buzz and the Journey to Lightyear.
Awesome.
35 minutes.
Okay, then I know what I want to watch next, because and I'm
Same.
hoping that has something to do with it. Like, I hope that it was a last minute change. I don't know if it'll be here or if it'll be in one of those like art books later on where they talk about the concepts or something. But like, I feel like it was just a last minute change. And you know, I've been wondering about this, not just since I saw it, but you know, since it was released. I kept wondering how this film was going to do. And this was before all of the controversies and all of the questions that people started raising about it, because Toy Story 4, I feel, was the last big film that Pixar released that Disney marketed really at all. Right? There, aside from like a poster here, a poster there, or a teaser here, a teaser there, Toy Story 4 was really the last big film that we heard a lot about, and there was a lot of prep for. Because after Toy Story 4, we got Onward. And in comparison to a lot of the other Pixar films, it was considered a flop in a lot of ways. You know, after that, we got Soul, you know, during the pandemic. And so people couldn't go out to the movie theaters. They released it on Disney+. That turned into a big thing. Then, you know, 6 months later, we got Luca again, you know, and, you know, it was a split release and everything, but it just wasn't the same. But even that one didn't get the fanfare. It didn't get the type of marketing that we've seen before for Pixar films. Then we got Turning Red. And Turning Red felt like this weird crossroads because it happened right in the middle of a lot of other stuff happening in the world where it felt like Disney wanted to promote it, but at the same time they didn't want to because it dealt with like this taboo topic, you know, that shouldn't really be in a film, but they're proud of what they made because the Pixar, you know, people that made it were proud of it. So it was getting it was getting pushed away with one hand and being brought back with the other at the same time. And then Lightyear. And so Lightyear, I thought, was going to get way more promotion because it was part of the Toy Story universe. You know, it got that big, like, this is the house that, you know, Toy Story built, essentially, treatment. And it didn't. It felt like we didn't get the type of marketing that we've gotten for so many of the other Pixar films. And whether it had to do with the fact that it had the kiss in there that everybody was talking about, or if they felt, you know, during screenings that it was a little too confusing for people because of the premise of it, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this was Disney's way of like protecting themselves, you know, by saying like, well, we didn't really promote it, that's why it didn't do well, you know, because it's easy to wash your hands like that. But I don't know. Am I reading too much into that? Like, it just feels weird that the last 5 films haven't been promoted and they've all been Pixar films.
Yeah.
I think it's the you know, the COVID back, you know, peddling and you know, Onward was half COVID movie as well. So that was like kind of promoted, and then it was like, well, okay, you got to pay $30 and it's on Disney Plus, okay, and then they've been like, okay, this, and you know, the marketing also just reminds me of, remember John Carter?
Yes.
Like, that marketing was awful, and that was a halfway decent movie. I thought that was a good movie.
Good point.
And I think they could do more of those movies, and people would like them. But again, it failed in the marketing and letting people know what this movie was about, and that's kind of where it flopped. But I still do agree with you that I don't remember seeing too much on Lightyear just advertised in either like Instagram ads or you know, commercials or whatever. Granted, I skip most of the commercials and do a lot of streaming, so it's harder to get ads to me. But I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I, you know, I have the radio on every once in a while, and I'm on social media, and you'd think you'd at least see a little bit of Lightyear in there. And yeah, I agree that I think it's just kind of been a dearth of marketing for these Pixar films, and granted, this has probably had more marketing than the last 5 or whatever that we listed from Onward to Turning Red. It's still it's weird, and I think people in the Disney company don't know what to make of Pixar anymore. That might be just a thing. They're like, Pixar makes good films and wants them to be released, but then they're like, oh, they do so well on Disney Plus, blah 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 blah. But Pixar doesn't want to be an exclusively Disney Plus entity, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I've heard anyway. So it's really like this big, like, who knows what's even going on. It's very confusing to watch from the outside, and I'm sure experience from the inside is even more rattling and confusing to be a part of it.
Bonkers.
So yeah, who knows what's going on over there. But yeah, I don't know. Here's hopefully the next one's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
They all are. They're all cool.
That's the
like,
thing.
Pixar movies, they're cool.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It's a Pixar movie. It's cool. It's got to make money. You just got to market it right. Lightyear supposedly had a $200 million budget and made $224 million worldwide.
So it just
barely made its budget back.
Yeah.
Yeah, with merchandising and stuff, it still probably will do okay, but it's interesting to look at the numbers. Made 118 million domestic,
Yeah.
and 106 internationally, and that's where it was banned in certain countries and blah 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 because of the non-controversial things that are in the movie. Like, it's whatever. But yeah, countries be doing country things, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, it made $8,000 in Slovenia.
Wow.
Woo.
Oh, on its opening, it made $32,000 in Slovenia.
Well, there you
It's
go.
more than $1.
Oh, it made it made that doesn't make any sense. That must be a typo. It says its opening it made $419,000 in Taiwan, and then its gross was $1,400. So that might be a typo. But anyway, let's get off this because I can read numbers all day and that'll just get boring.
Well, I guess, I mean, you made a lot of really great points about the timing of the release of everything, right? Because Toy Story was released the summer of 2019. The pandemic, if you think back to the starting point, it started to really hit people around December of 2019. And then by February 2020, March 2020, that's when all the quarantines began to happen, and Onward released March 2020, right? It was just right after everything had begun to shut down. So they made the decision, like you said, to release that. Everything else was released, like Soul was released in the middle of the pandemic. Luca, was last year in the summer when things began to open up again. But there was still a lot of restrictions in place. Turning Red was this year, still restrictions, but not as many as there was before, but not a lot of marketing to go along with it as well. Lightyear was possibly the one that had the best chance of being seen by the most people because it was at a time when more people were comfortable going to the movies. They were going out a lot more than they used to. But at the same time, that could have also been part of the reason why it failed, because after 2 years of not being able to go to the beach or go camping or go to the park or do whatever, people were probably not going to want to go sit inside of a movie theater when they could have been at the beach at a bonfire or something, right?
But that could be
definitely a big factor. I'm
Right.
noticing that at my work is the same kind of trends.
Yeah. So Elemental is the next film that's on the Pixar block right now. So
That's
Elemental,
right.
I think, is going to release in June of next year. And the biggest thing that I think worry people, and I'm not worried because I loved it, is that it's directed by the same director as The Good Dinosaur. Right? I love The Good Dinosaur. People got a lot of beef with it for some reason, but it's the same director, and it feels like it has parallels to Inside Out, the way that they're not
100%.
emotions, but they are, elemental figures, but they feel very Inside Out when you look at some of the concept art. That one, I think, is going to be a really good indicator of where the Disney company wants to go with Pixar, because if they market the heck out of this film, you know that they are 100% behind Pixar. But if we get some half, marketing tactic like we've got with some of these other films, you know that they're not thinking of Pixar as the powerhouse that they are, but as a studio, like you said, that they want to position as a Disney Plus exclusive to get more subscribers, given that their current model is let's get as many subscribers onto Disney Plus as possible, especially considering that a lot of people are terming out because they got the D23, like the founders package or whatever that they had for Disney
Yep,
Plus.
that's me.
Yeah, we're terming out on that soon too. And so I imagine that they're trying to get more exclusive stuff, get more content, and they might want to fully position Pixar as one of those studios because they're not bringing in Marvel money, so we'll see.
I mean, but the thing is, like, how much Toy Story 4 made? Hold on, let me bring it up because you say Marvel money, and I want to check. I could have swore it made Toy Story 4 worldwide made over $1 billion. Yeah. So pre-pandemic, Pixar is doing, keeping pace with Marvel. I mean, they weren't doing Avengers Endgame numbers or whatever, but they're definitely beaten, Thor 2 or whatever. Like, they're definitely doing pre-pandemic doing good numbers, and we really don't know what Pixar is in this, post-pandemic thing, whatever you want to call it, because they've not given them the proper chance with not releasing their films, except for Lightyear, in theaters. So it's kind of like hard to tell because they've kind of screwed Pixar over a little bit by making them this like thing where people are like, oh, well, it's on the Disney Plus, da 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 da. So it's, and who knows with this, Disney Plus model with how it is, people go, well, I'll just watch it when it's on Disney Plus. Like, it'll be in theaters, and then I'll watch, if I don't have to go to the theater. I didn't see Lightyear in theaters. It was more because I ran out of time. But most people are just, I'll catch it on Disney Plus. And if that becomes the model where it's like, all right, it spends, 6 weeks in theaters and then goes straight to Disney Plus, they're going to lose a lot of box office because people, unless it's like in a specific event film, they're going to lose a lot of people because people can wait 6 weeks. I can wait 6 weeks for a movie.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time. So yeah, 6 weeks, whatever. That's not a problem. Yeah. And I'll watch it on Disney Plus in the, my pajamas.
Yeah. I mean, by comparison, if you add up approximately what the MCU has brought in for Disney, it's just over $27 billion. And that's ranging all the way back from Iron Man all the way through like Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Pixar, on the other hand, if you go all the way to Toy Story 1 through Lightyear, has brought in just under 15 billion.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a huge gap between the two. And by comparison, Pixar has had 5 movies that have broken the billion, and those are Nemo came close. It was at 936, but Toy Story 3 broke $1 billion, Finding Dory broke $1 billion, The Incredibles 2 broke $1 billion, and so did Toy Story 4. And that's it.
That was in that run though, but just think of how long, like, you could have a Marvel movie every year, like sometimes 2 Marvel movies in a year, or animation, it's like they just don't have the time. And also the other thing you have to consider with is merchandise.
Merchandise.
Toy Story
totally
toys and Cars toys bring in probably 10 times as more money than the Marvel toys, I would have to think. I think Pixar toys are are probably some of the hottest toys you can get.
Great
I mean,
point.
I don't have any information on this, but that's something that I'm sure that they're all considering. Da 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 da. But yeah, but how many do you have the count on how many Marvel films versus how many Pixar films? Is it similar number?
No.
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, they're not that far apart. There's 30 Pixar films,
like-
and there's 43 Marvel films.
Okay, so yeah, they're decently apart, but a lot of the Pixar films where you go to 1992, 94 was 96 when Toy Story was released.
95.
95. Okay, I danced right around the number. No movie was making $1 billion in 1995 except Titanic.
I was going to say maybe Titanic.
Titanic is the only one. Like, it's the most uncommon thing in the world, and then it's when you get to like 2016, 15, 14, 15, whenever that first Avengers comes out, and from then on it was just like billion-dollar movie, billion. Every movie was making, every Disney property movie basically was making $1 billion worldwide.
You want to hear something funny?
It was just like a run.
You want to hear something funny? When Avengers hit over $1 billion in 2012, Pixar did it first when Toy Story 3 hit over $1 billion in 2010.
Yeah, so basically Toy Story 3 was the start of that. I'm not looking at any numbers, but it feels like there was just a run, basically 2010 to 2019, of just like billion pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and I think people are just worn out, because a lot of those films was like, well, it felt, started to feel kind of like homework. Like, well, I got to go see the other Marvel movies because I've seen 30 other ones, and I have to make sure that I catch up on this so I don't miss the storyline, because if I want to watch Iron Man 5, I have to know what happens in Hulk 2, or I'm not going to know what's going on. So it's kind of like an obligation more than anything. I mean, granted, I do like the Marvel films, but they kind of they did a very smart thing, and ended up with like this fan base, even if they're not technically fans, but they're kind of stuck because they're like, well, I care about these storylines. I have to watch them all because it technically connect with each other.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point too, that having the MCU completely connect into one giant story versus having all the tiny ones, you did feel more invested. And that's something I hadn't thought about before. And All right, well, I want to pass the question on to the listeners because I want to know how they feel about this. The last 5 Pixar films have done okay, but they haven't been, as phenomenal box office wise like all these other ones that we've talked about before. But, we want to hear your thoughts on it. Have you seen Lightyear? How did you feel about it? Did you feel that it was poorly marketed? Did you feel that it was a good movie or a bad movie? Leave your thoughts. You can join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. But we'd love for you to join us over on Discord. Joining the community on Discord is easy. You can click on the pinned IG story. Couple clicks, you'll be joining us. Or you can head over to the blog post for this episode, podketeers.com/425, and you can click on the Discord logo there to join us as well. All right, before we continue, I do want to take a moment to thank a very special group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes possible. If you want more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, you can head over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, some info on the FGP Squad, and a link to our Patreon. Being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks like discounts on Podketeers gear, access to additional content on Patreon like the Podketeers After Show, some audio clips, other things that we've done, special episodes. You also get first dibs at new products. Sometimes I just randomly send out gifts because that's just something that I do at times.
It's like Santa.
Sometimes.
Like Topo Shisho.
But if you want more information, it's going to be in my head now. If you want more information, again, podketeers.com/FGP. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support.
Thank you.
All right, so I need to apologize to everybody because...
What'd you do?
Well, it's something that I didn't do, really. And, you know, two of the biggest organizations that we like to fundraise for are the Children's Hospital in Orange County. We participate in the ChocWalk, and we also fundraise for City of Hope. We do Walk for Hope in support of raising money for women's cancers. And the ChocWalk this year was reimagined. It is not going to be the standard ChocWalk where you walk around the park like we've done in the past. It's a different event. It's you raise money, and then you can get a ticket for an event that they're going to have at California Adventure to celebrate the anniversary of the ChocWalk, because it is an anniversary year for them. Because it was slightly different, in my head, it didn't fully process as, hey, the ChocWalk is coming, regardless of the fact that I had it on my list to set up a ChocWalk page and that it's at the end of August and that, you know, it's coming. And I kept seeing it, and I just thought, oh, yeah, cool, we'll get ChocWalk information soon. But we had ChocWalk information, and it just wasn't clicking in my head that the ChocWalk was coming. So I haven't set up the page, and we hadn't begun to fundraise. You know, usually we try to set a goal of about $500. If that goes well, we usually try to raise it to $1,000. And I was kicking myself earlier today because I realized, oh, damn, we're like a week and a half away, I believe, now from the ChocWalk, or, 2 weeks or so. We got nothing so far. We had like plans to
Big
raise money and do the auctions and everything. So here's what I'm thinking. Let me know if everyone's on board with this. I don't mind setting it up. I would still love to raise any type of money for the Children's Hospital. You know, it means a lot to me, which is one of the reasons why I love fundraising for them. But, we don't have a lot of time left. So we can set up a page, and I'm thinking that we can set, a small goal. Because, being in the fundraising world, I can tell you that everything that you raise goes towards helping someone or to help build something into something bigger, right? So if we set like a goal of like $150, $200 or something, I think it's an easily attainable goal as a team. But it's something realistic that we can do in the next couple of weeks as well. We might even be able to squeeze in an auction or two to help out with raising a little bit of money. They don't stop the fundraising like the day of the ChocWalk. Like it usually goes on for like a week or two after. So we do have a good 3 or 4 weeks to do some fundraising. So it gives us an opportunity to set up an auction or two and stuff like that. If anyone is interested, last year, you might remember that for Walk for Hope, we did something that we've never done before, and that was we made Teamboat Willie pins. There was a limited number. There was 100 of those produced. We still have a small amount of those that were left over from Walk for Hope. If you didn't get a chance to get one last year, I could put the rest of them up for sale as part of the Choc fundraiser, and we can do something similar where a portion of the proceeds from the pins goes towards a donation for ChocWalk. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Like if we set like a $150, $200 goal, like that's pretty realistic in a couple of weeks, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know what? It's for the kids. It's for the kids.
It is for the kids.
Let's do it for the kids.
We've always said that even if it's just $1, it's $1 more than what they've had or that we could give. It's just $1 more. So yeah, let's try that.
That's true.
You know what? It's
Little
not
bit
too
helps.
small. It's something.
I agree.
Better than nothing. So let's try that.
All right. So if I don't set up this page by the day after this episode launches, please hold me accountable and send me text messages until I send
We
you
will
a
spam
link
you.
for this page, because we
We'll
got to
spam
get the
you.
page out there. We'll put it up on Instagram. We'll put it up on Discord. If you want to donate, anything that you can help is obviously going to be super helpful. If you want to become part of the team and help us fundraise, run your own page, you can set your own goal. That would be amazing as well. We always love having members of the community and having members of the FGP Squad join us as part of Teamboat Willie and helping us raise funds for these events that we are a part of. So, okay, I will create the page this week. Again, if it isn't up by Thursday, the day after this episode, spam me until I get it done.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you. All right, so the last thing I wanted to bring up in this episode is that the Haunted Mansion is 53 years young.
It doesn't look a day over 32.
Ish, right?
Ish.
Yay! Happy anniversary, Haunted Mansion! Woo!
Good job, you did it. Happy anniversary to you.
Woo!
Happy anniversary to you. No, I won't sing it. That's a callback to another episode.
But we didn't get
But
spaghetti.
it's crazy how 3 years has
Yeah,
already flown
spaghetti.
by. Like, dang.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And to think it's been all those years in development just teasing people. It's such a tease.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the facade of the mansion is what 60 years old at
60?
this point.
At this point. Yep.
Yeah.
I think, right? When did the facade go? I'm gonna look it up. You keep talking. I'm gonna look it up because I think it's pretty close.
It was up there for a while before it
Yeah.
opened. So
Well, I thought it would be fun to, think back on the mansion. And do you have two questions for both of you? One, as we celebrate the 53rd anniversary of the Haunted Mansion, do you, one, have a favorite ghost? And two, do you have a specific memory of the Haunted Mansion that particularly stands out for you?
yeah. Favorite ghost. My girl, Leota.
Nice.
She's my favorite. Yes, there's Hatbox Ghost, but Leota she's the star. I mean, she is. One really cool memory is, I think I've mentioned this before a while back, like way in the early times of this podcast, but having the ability to walk the mansion and smelling underneath, like we don't smell this when you're on a doom buggy, but in the dining room area, I didn't go downstairs, but to smell the smells that come up from the ballroom dancers, it smells old. Like, I don't know what old smells is, but if it's just like antique-y, musky, like it smells like that. So if you guys, I mean, not even if you're stopped, you don't smell that. You have to be out of it to smell it. And there you go. That's one of my favorite memories, is that eerie smell.
Not in a candle anywhere to be found, by the way.
Nope. Nope, not the one at Disneyland either. Doesn't smell like that.
Yeah, so I found let's see. Okay. Yes, the facade began being constructed in 1962.
You're
was
right.
Finished in 1963. So it was finished in 63. So it's 59 years old, the facade of the Haunted Mansion. So
Next
there
year
you
we're going to
go.
celebrate
Even
60.
old. Yeah, 60 years of the mansion facade.
Does that
Anyway,
does that count as a facelift or a face down, or?
It's just like it's like butt implants, because you had the like the facade's like the front, and then you had the
You
show
said
building
butt.
in the back.
For the kids in the
right?
minivan.
I
said butt.
said that example.
You know what? You know what? I gotta write that down. Butt implants. Anyway, What was the question? Something about favorite ghost. Favorite ghost. Oh, I remember. Okay, favorite ghost. My favorite ghost is good old Uncle Theodore, the singing bust by Thurl Ravenscroft. My favorite guy. He's my favorite guy. I love all the singing busts. They're so cool. But he's my favorite. You can't go wrong with any Thurl Ravenscroft characters. Like he's just so cool. But that's my favorite ghost. Second goes to the mummy in the coffin.
Nice.
The graveyard scene, because he goes like, rah, 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 and I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Story, every time I think, as soon as you said story of Haunted Mansion, the thing I remember is my first visit to the park. Now, I am a very wimpy person, and I was only much more wimpy as a young child. So they're like, Haunted Mansion. Oh, I am not going to have a good time on this. I'm scared walking up. So I'm going in. I'm like, okay, we're in line. We stand in line. I don't remember the line being too long. We got into the foyer. It is not even and the ghost host narration starts, and I bolt out of there. I'm gone down the walkway, down the brick stairs, all the way down. I have an ant chasing me. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm running out. I end up like there was a hat stand outside the gates of the Haunted Mansion. I'm just like, I can't do it. And so my aunt had to miss writing the Haunted Mansion while I browsed hats because I was too afraid to write the Haunted Mansion. And that lasted for quite a while. But hey, now I love it. And I got a Lego Haunted Mansion, and I got a whole shelf full of Haunted Mansion crap. August, what is it? August 9th, yesterday, 2022. The year of our Lord, I went to Spirit Halloween for the first time. It is August. I went to Spirit Halloween. I've made 2 separate purchases from Spirit Halloween in August. So we'll talk more about that later. I think we're getting a little long in this episode, but we'll talk about all of my purchases from Haunted Mansion, but
nice.
Or from Spirit Halloween. But anyway, yes, that's me being a little scary chicken. Didn't even make it into the stretching room of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanna hear about all the stuff that you got, because I saw that when we got your text message about all the stuff that they had available, my first thought was I want to go to there so that I could experience just seeing everything, right? And then I realized that there was way too many things I wanted to buy. And I thought, okay, I got to pace myself, because this week we also get the Lowe's drop of all the Haunted Mansion stuff coming from Lowe's. So I'm sure you'll be at Lowe's sometime this week. And next week,
probably tomorrow or something. I don't know.
So I'm sure that next week we'll be able to hear about your purchasing adventures at Spirit Halloween and at Lowe's, getting all sorts of cool Haunted Mansion stuff. So more to come.
Yeah, my wife will be mad at me.
Let's see. Ghost. So I think most people are expecting me to say the obvious answer, and that is the Hatbox Ghost. And if that's what you were thinking, you would be correct in many ways, because the Hatbox Ghost is just so legendary, the story behind it, and, all of the talk behind, how long it was originally in the mansion before it was taken off, and how it disappeared, and then they couldn't find it, and they couldn't find the records, and then Tony Baxter's like, but it did exist, and then, everything surrounding the Hatbox Ghost is just so cool. I love it. It makes me want to explode. But for the sake of giving you something different this episode, because I've expressed how much I love the Hatbox Ghost many a times. It's no secret how much I love the Hatbox Ghost. But I want to give you something different, because I do have a couple of other favorite characters in there. So I'm going to give you my next favorite character, and that is the Hatchet Man. The Hatchet Man there's a lot of questions surrounding who the Hatchet Man is. Like, a lot of people believe that it's Master Gracie. A lot of people believe that he's his own character. A lot of people believe that he's like the reincarnated corpse of, whoever's hanging, which would be the ghost host, but then, is the ghost host Master Gracie. And so there's all this legend behind, who the Hatchet Man is. But I love the look of the Hatchet Man. I love just how, like, calm and sinister he looks in the portraits that they have of him. And as a bonus, Javier Soto, who's an amazing artist, an amazing sculptor, he made a portrait of the Hatchet Man years ago when they did the celebration for the Haunted Mansion at the Disneyana Gallery. And so he had his, portrait there. He had this giant bust of Ezra that was just insane. It was just amazing. But yeah, that portrait that he made of the Hatchet Man, just, I don't know, it made me appreciate the character a lot more. And since then, he's kind of been like my number 2 character. And only because I can't decide between the hitchhiking ghosts. Otherwise, if I could smash the hitchhiking ghost into like one super like ghost, then that would probably be my number 2. But I'm going to go with the Hatchet Man. Just to give you something different, because I know you're like, oh yeah, Heyzen's going to say the Hatbox Ghost. Ha!
Oh, you know what? I thought, the lady blowing the cake out, the candles out. I thought that was going to be it,
Oh, that's such a great ghost, too. There's so many good ones.
Good ghosts.
There are.
I thought Melissa was going for Mr. Organ Man.
Victor,
no.
You know what? I thought that's where that was going. But
I mean,
I
could have said the dancing monkeys, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many good mansion characters. I mean, just the graveyard alone, like every character in there is just a freaking cuckoo bananas, like crazy, the king and there's like the, guy with the ball and chain and just sealing himself up in the tomb. Everybody in there. There's just a
dogs. Cats.
Hey, and the Haunted Mansion is, hey, did anybody ever say this? I don't know if anybody has, but the Haunted Mansion is cool.
What? Nobody's ever said that
I don't know if
before.
that's a controversial opinion or not.
It is.
Haunted Mansion is
You're going to
cool.
hear, there's going to be a backlash because of that one.
You know what? I stand my ground. Haunted Mansion is cool.
You do it, man. I stand behind you.
100%.
As I sip out of my Haunted Mansion cup.
Oh, I got my mug here too. Hey, it's a My Mansion mug too.
Hey.
Nice.
Mine one that looks like that is up there. It's somewhere up there. I can take a shot out of my Haunted Mansion shot glasses.
Oh, that's what I want. This year they had those shot glasses. All right, we're talking merch next week. We got to talk about this stuff. Anyway,
because there's a
so
lot.
Much stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And it's just only begun.
I went to the small Spirit Halloween. I haven't even been to the big Spirit Halloween yet.
Oh, I got some stories about Spirit Halloween next week too, by the way. I got at least one story. I don't know.
We have to go back to Spirit Halloween.
Yes.
That was my
all right,
Kristen
so
Lloyd impression. It didn't work very well.
It was good enough. I liked it.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite ghost. And favorite memory.
Oh yeah, we're still on this.
Yeah,
part.
I want to wrap this up because we got to wrap up the episode. So, favorite memory. So those times. I'm sure that every Disney fan that is at a point in their fandom where they realize I'm with my people. Do you remember that moment where you just connected with people like you didn't even know, like just people that randomly you got to meet that day, or maybe you met online at some point and you met them for the first time, but you knew at that point, like, oh, damn, these are my people, right?
Yep.
Like, that's how I felt. Like, I had been to Disneyland before. I had met other fans. And, at the time, I've told this story before, that my love for Disneyland came because I became obsessed with the Haunted Mansion. And because of my obsession with the Haunted Mansion, it drew me to, like, Doom Buggies and then getting Jeff Bayham's book. And that the way that he dove into the creation of the mansion and had all these stories from Imagineers, that got me into Imagineering, and it got me into the creation of the parks. And so my love for the parks came honestly from the Haunted Mansion. And so the day that I went to my very first Doom Buggies meetup, where I got a chance to, hang out with Jeff again, because I had met him before, but I got a chance to hang out with Jeff and all these people that I never really met before, right? But I felt like these are my people. Like, I share something with these people that I don't really share with anybody else. More importantly, it's something that a lot of people tend to talk smack about because they don't understand it. That's where the whole, like, Disney adult thing came from, right? And it's just, there's just this love for something that I don't even know how to describe it. It makes you happy on so many levels. So that's my memory. That's what my memory of the mansion that stands out the most. Like, the Hatbox Ghost coming back and everything was like, oh, wow. Like, I probably would have wet my pants that day. But, I mean, it doesn't even compare to how I felt meeting these random people, at the mansion, writing with them and interacting with them and just knowing that I wasn't alone in this fandom, So that's my memory of the mansion.
That's how Melissa and I met. I mean, you just basically told the story of how, like, Melissa and I became friends, and it's been what over 10 years
10
now,
years?
And it's
just by meeting. This is my people.
On
like,
the
that's
internet.
It.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes. It's just amazing how the parks can really bring people together and really there is a community out there that, I mean, that's why we're all here. That's why we do this podcast. That's why people listen to this podcast, is because it's a community of people that just kind of they like going to Disney parks, or they like watching the movies, or all the things, and it's a place to have good fun and be with people that kind of understand your quirks. You can be a little weird. It's kind of, I'm in theater, and it's kind of a similar thing where it's like, yeah, everybody's a little silly, but that's the kind of silly that you want to be around, and it's
Right.
it's fun, and it's good to have a community that understands you and your people get it. It's a it might be a weird thing to just like to go to theme parks all the time, but you know what, I'm weird and I like it, and all my friends are weird, and that's fine. Like, if you want to call us weird, whatever, it's fine. I like going to Disneyland, so say hi. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense, but yeah, Disneyland is, I'm gonna say this, I might have a controversial opinion, but going to Disneyland is fun.
How dare you say that, sir? All right. Well, I think that's a great place to end the episode. If you want to share your favorite mansion stories, if you have any, or maybe even share the story that you knew you were with your people when visiting the parks, or when, getting together with other fans of the things that you're a fan of, drop us a note, join the conversation over on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but we'd love for you to join us over on Discord. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to join us, it's really simple. Head over to our pinned Instagram story. You'll find the Discord link there, or you can go to podketeers.com/425, click on the Discord logo, a couple clicks away from joining the community. So, new episode of Quizneyland coming this week.
In theory,
you have been killing it on Quizneyland, man.
So
you know what? You always surprise us. I always learn something great from Quizneyland.
Yep, you do.
Every episode, man. I love it. I'm looking forward to this week's episode.
I'm glad.
So, new episode of Quizneyland
Me too.
coming.
It'll be fun to figure out what that's going to be about.
Oh, you're going to figure out something great.
There might be there. I think I got a little list. I think there's I'll have a Marvel Comics, something about Marvel Comics, something about some kind of Star Wars related thing. I don't know how I want to word this question yet. So and then maybe something about venture capitalism.
Ooh.
So venture capitalists. So that'll be
what all the teens
some
are talking about
interesting,
these days.
Yeah, you know what? Woohoo! Everybody loves a good venture capitalist. That's what I have to say.
All right.
You know, I maybe have a controversial opinion, but I'm not going to do that again.
All right, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Until next time, keep
outta
dreaming,
here.
keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya. When engines creak in doorless chambers. If Larry was here, he would definitely do that.
Yeah,
right?
he totally would have.
Yeah.
Part of the Podketeers Network.